In the quiet heart of a forgotten village, where time seemed to flow as gently as the river beside it, lived a woman named Clara. Every morning, as the first rays of sunlight kissed the cobblestone streets, she would walk to the riverbank. In her hand, she held a single white camellia. With a silent prayer, she'd release it into the current, watching as the water carried away not just a flower, but a piece of a sorrow she had held for years. Clara was the owner of a small, fragrant tea shop, a place that smelled of cinnamon and stories. But beneath the warm smile she offered her customers, a deep, unspoken sadness resided. One spring, a young writer named Lily, seeking refuge from the city's relentless pace, moved into a small cottage by the river. Her heart was heavy with its own burdens, and she hoped the tranquility of the village would offer some solace. Drawn by the scent of brewing tea, she found her way to Clara's shop. She was immediately captivated by the older woman's gentle presence, yet she sensed a profound melancholy in her eyes, a depth that mirrored her own. They quickly became friends. Lily would spend her afternoons in the tea shop, a notebook open before her, though the pages often remained blank. She'd watch Clara, who moved with a quiet grace, her hands deftly preparing blends of herbs and flowers. They spoke of many things: books, the changing seasons, the simple joys of village life. But the one thing they never spoke of was the white camellia. One afternoon, as a soft rain tapped against the window panes, Lily finally gathered the courage to ask. "Clara," she began tentatively, "forgive me for asking, but I see you at the river every morning. The white flower, does it have a story?" Clara's hands stilled over a porcelain cup. She looked out at the rain, her gaze distant, as if seeing a scene from long ago. A single tear traced a path down her cheek, and for the first time in a long time, she decided to share her burden. "It was for my son, Ethan," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "He was full of life, so bright and stubborn. 10 years ago, we had a terrible argument. I can't even remember what it was about now, something trivial. He stormed out, angry. I was angry too. I let him go without saying I love him." Her voice broke. That night, there was an accident. He never came home. The weight of those words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. "For years," Clara continued, her eyes finding Lily's, "I've been punishing myself. Every morning, that flower is my penance, a reminder of my failure, of the words I left unsaid. I thought if I held onto the pain tightly enough, it would somehow keep him close, or perhaps atone for my part in it." Lily's heart ached for her. She reached across the table and took Clara's hand, her own struggles feeling both smaller and more connected to the universal tapestry of human grief. In the weeks that followed, their conversations deepened. Clara, by sharing her story, had unlocked a door she had kept sealed for a decade. She began to see her grief not as a constant, open wound, but as something else entirely. One day, while tending to her garden, she looked at a gnarled old rosebush that had a deep scar on its main stem from a long-ago storm. Yet, from that very branch, a beautiful, fragrant rose was blooming. A realization dawned on her, as gentle and illuminating as the morning sun. Later that day, she shared her newfound understanding with Lily. "I've been trying to forget, Lily," she said, her voice stronger than it had been in years. "I thought healing meant erasing the memory, pretending it never happened. But that's not it at all. Forgetting isn't healing. Healing is learning to live with the pain, to let it become a part of you, like a scar. It's a part of your story, but it doesn't have to be the whole story." She looked at Lily, whose eyes were wide with understanding. "Pain is not a wound to be erased, my dear," Clara advised, her words resonating with a profound wisdom born from suffering. "It is a scar to live with gently. It reminds us that we have survived." Clara's words were a key for Lily. She had come to the village to escape her own past, a painful breakup that had shattered her confidence and left her feeling lost. She had been trying to outrun her memories, to force them into oblivion. But now, inspired by Clara, she picked up her pen not to escape, but to explore. She began to write about her heartbreak, not with bitterness, but with a newfound compassion for her younger self. She poured her pain, her confusion, and her glimmers of hope onto the pages. Writing became her way of processing, of transforming her own wounds into scars she could understand and live with. One morning, Lily joined Clara at the riverbank. This time, Clara held no flower. She simply stood, her hands clasped, watching the water flow. She turned to Lily with a serene smile. "I don't need the flower anymore," she said softly. "Ethan is not in the river. He's here," she placed a hand over her heart, "and he's in every cup of tea I serve, in every sunrise I'm grateful to see." As Lily prepared to leave the village months later, her notebook full and her heart lighter, Clara gave her one final piece of wisdom. They stood outside the tea shop, surrounded by the fragrance of blooming jasmine. "Don't try to forget the past, my dear," Clara said, her eyes twinkling with a gentle light. "Let it remind you how far your soul has come. Let it be the soil from which your strength grows." And in that moment, Lily understood the ultimate lesson. Healing is not about forgetting. It's not about pretending we were never broken. It's about forgiveness, not for what happened, but for our own imperfect, human reactions to it. It's about looking at our scars and seeing not a symbol of what we lost, but a testament to our resilience, a map of our journey. Healing begins when we stop fighting the past and learn to live with it wisely, allowing it to inform our present without defining our future. It's about accepting that we have been wounded, and then, with courage and grace, choosing to bloom anyway. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more content that explores the depths of the human heart. Remember, your story is still being written. Be gentle with yourself. We'll see you in the next one.